this is Tomlin from TomlinHarmonicaLessons.com, and today's lesson is, it's not going to be teaching you anything in particular about harmonica technique, but what it is going to be teaching you is the importance of practicing slowly and kind of just explaining to you a little bit why I am so strict about this with my students, and why if I could reach through the camera and sit and watch you practice, I would force you to practice slowly. So there's this really overwhelming kind of desire when you're learning to play something, and you might be in a great habit of having the metronome on. So I can get my metronome on here and practice playing something. For example, the blues scale, and we'll do. And you might think, well, I can do that really easily at that speed. That's cool. So I'll speed it up a little bit. So I'll go up to 100. You're like, that's still fine. That's still fine. So how about I do that at eighth notes? That's still okay. Let's try it with triplets. Still sounds pretty good. Let's try it with 16th notes. So that's 4 notes over the beat. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Still sounds okay. Not quite as clean as it did when I was playing single notes, but that's okay. I'll just repeat it over and over and over. That is wrong. That is the worst attitude to have, because what happens, you've probably all heard this term muscle memory. And muscle memory is what we rely on a lot of the time as musicians, to kind of provide fluidity in our playing. And basically what it is your brain is incredibly good at taking any kind of physical movement that you make, and if you repeat it enough times, it becomes a patterned movement, and your brain records it so that you can start doing it unconsciously. And that's a really powerful thing, because if you think about all the skills that you've learned in your life, if you had to do them consciously, it would be a complete nightmare trying to concentrate on all of that. For example, do you have to think about walking? No, you don't have to think about walking. But when you were, a toddler and you were trying to make those first steps, it was such an almighty effort. And you've learned how to do it, and now you can do it fine. The problem with this incredibly powerful system is that there's no third party judging you on the quality of what you're repeating. So if you play something faster and faster and faster, and you repeat it really quickly, your brain's going to learn how to do it really quickly. But if you're repeating it with mistakes, it's also going to learn those mistakes, and that's not a very beneficial thing for you. And technique isn't something that you want to sort of have to think about. It's something that you want to have to help you express any musical idea you have. And if it's got flaws like that, it's going to hold you back. So that's a really important reason for practicing really, really slowly. Another thing is, you can, when you're playing something slowly and there are small mistakes, they don't really sound that important. But when you speed it up, you kind of concentrate the quantity of mistakes in a smaller amount of space, and it starts becoming more and more overwhelming. So the only time that it's okay for you to start speeding something up is once it's absolutely perfect. And then, let's think about this. If you've got bad habits as a player, if you're trying to fix a bad habit, because we've all got them. I've got millions of bad habits as a harmonica player and as a guitarist. If you try and fix them by practicing the new good alternative quickly, it's not going to change anything. What you need to do is you need to practice it really slowly so that those neuronal pathways in your brain can get rewritten with the new information, because your brain can't process quickly enough to say, well, we've changed this way of playing, but we're doing it at full speed. Your brain needs a lot more time to process that. That's another reason to play really, really slowly when you're practicing. And, I tell my students this all the time. I still practice at 60 BPM my scales every day. And it's just so that that's something completely ingrained that I don't have to think about. So that when I'm up on the bandstand, it comes out without me having to think. And I know that it's going to be nice and clean. So yes, I know that this isn't probably what you're expecting from your weekly lesson, but I think it's really important that you remember just why practicing slowly is important, and also just how powerful muscle memory is, because it's great. Muscle memory is a really powerful thing for your playing, but you need to be that third party with very critical ears in between your brain and yourself. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you take a little bit of that idea into your practice routine. And join me next week for the next harmonica lesson.